It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
Don't cry. It's just a joke.
Man, that's a real childish.
This is
knock
podcasting.
joke.
What?
Boo-hoo? Boo-hoo? That's a joke that a 6-year-old would throw out there. I'm sorry that I offended you
That's
right
my
off
favorite
the
joke.
top.
That is my favorite
If that's your
joke.
favorite joke, you're in
It
the wrong
always
line of
makes me
work,
laugh.
buddy.
It makes you laugh, but it doesn't make the other person laugh.
I'm not telling jokes for other people. Have you guys ever heard this podcast?
Well, before we get into more jokes, let's introduce our very special guest. It is my lovely, beautiful girlfriend. She helps a lot with the podcast.
She does.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the studio, Melissa Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back. You've been on the show in the past, but never.
Not like for a full episode, kind of.
You hung out with us during Cats.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's so weird
yeah.
to,
But then, like,
I know I can't see you, but I'm
I know,
just
I'm like-
pretending I'm looking at you.
is it? Do you want us to move the mic a little bit,
No.
make you more
Can I pull
comfortable?
an Alex and wear sunglasses too?
Yeah.
You could wear sunglasses, look cool, and then
I suggest you wear sunglasses. You want to wear a hat too?
Nah.
tell us your experience with wearing sunglasses indoors because I'm not too used to it. Do you get used to it? Is it
Yeah.
weird when you take off the sunglasses?
Yes.
Wow.
I live through sunglasses. I feel like Matt Murdock or, maybe Stevie Wonder, but
Cyclops.
no, never Cyclops.
Never Cyclops?
I never want to be that douchebag.
You want to be James Marsden,
He's
dude?
cute though.
Actually,
Yeah,
I take it back.
he's
I actually
good
really
looking.
enjoy Cyclops. He's actually one of my favorite X-Men, and he always gets the shaft. They always kill him or make him the bad guy.
Always, dude.
Because everyone likes Logan more, bro.
Yeah, sadly, even though that Logan was not depicted as accurately as Cyclops, as James Marsden's Cyclops.
Oh, you mean the movie? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just the fact that...
As a whole, on a
Hugh
whole,
Jackman
the character
is-
of Cyclops always gets the shaft.
Yeah. But we're not talking about a Marvel movie. We're talking about
It's a Lionsgate movie?
a very abstract... Universal Studios
Universal.
actually distributed it.
Wow,
distributed
unbelievable.
this.
They distributed it, but it was
They did no work.
produced by indie
Companies,
companies.
yes.
Okay.
One of the production companies had like a lottery foundation on it. So that's interesting. Did you notice that? BFI was one of the production companies that slated in the beginning. And on the bottom of their slate, it says like lottery foundation.
What? What
Yeah.
does that even mean?
I think that means some state or country's lottery helped finance this film.
That's
Probably
crazy.
since it was filmed in Eureka, California, the California lottery system.
That's right. It was pretty nearby to us. It was just a few hours from,
No way,
from
yeah,
us,
it's
right?
not close to us at all.
But just the fact that it's, I think it's close because I see signs of it on highways saying, "Go here for Eureka."
Because it's like the last stop of that highway before it becomes.
Is it on the
Oregon.
coast?
It's close-ish to the coast, I would say. I think it's more like mountainy coast, though. You know, like when you get to the northwest, it's really kind of rocky and
Yeah.
It seemed very
Sad.
mountain. It seemed very
Green.
bland. Green.
green. Yeah, it seemed very like wet and moist.
Was it? Okay, I guess I wasn't
How are you
paying.
gonna say bland if you've never gone there?
Yeah, you hating on people from Eureka, bro?
No, I'm not calling the place bland necessarily. I guess the feeling of it. I guess this movie
we
kind
never
of gave
hear
off
about
that
it?
like
Oh.
deadpan feel. What was that?
Nothing.
Well, since let's dip our toes a little bit in this movie, and I will say right off the bat, I had a tough time with this film.
Dude, yeah. What's up?
What do you mean? What's up? You know why I had a tough
Dude,
time with
I
this film. You
thoroughly
watched it
enjoyed
too.
this film. Yeah.
It at one point when I did pause it to see where I was, and there was still an hour left in the film. It did. The runtime doesn't do this film justice because the runtime makes you feel like it's maybe like a normal sized film.
Yeah.
But it feels like an adventure.
Well, so, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna
You
try to
gotta give me
defend
that.
this.
And I think you should because I can be swayed. Like you even said, we talked a little bit about it. There are parts and lines of this film that I really enjoy and think are very interesting. But, 10 cents on the dollar says, no babies for me.
No babies for you? I've never heard of that. 10
Really?
cents on the dollar says no babies for me.
That's right. That's a pretty popular phrase.
What's the historical
even heard about
context
it.
behind that phrase?
Well, it was invented by this genius man named Alejandro.
Okay, and moving on. Melissa, babe, what did you think of this film?
I told you this last night. I felt that it was normal in a different universe. So definitely not ours. Because like no one was pointing out the weird shit.
Yeah, no one was pointing
Yeah,
out
like
the
in the
unusual.
beginning, like they paid for something without even giving the money.
Did you notice that?
So he just opened the cash register and he like
Pretended to put money away.
I guess I don't know, but
the
he just
cashier
closed
opened it and
The
they just
whole
closed
movie seemed to me like beginning drama acting class with like
Oh
some
my
of the
gosh.
best actors in the market right now. And it seemed like all of these scenes were like that's what we're doing today. Today's
I think it was a super meta joke since they were purposefully acting in such a bad,
so
forceful
here's
way.
a couple of things I want to say about that. Half of the actors you could tell were making the choice to do it poorly. And I think the other half were just doing it poorly.
That's what that was their skill set.
No, that second, the latter isn't a skill set.
That's all they had to offer is what you're saying.
Melissa, you like this film? That's a question.
No.
Okay.
I do not like this film.
Okay. Then we'll get to the rating system a little bit later. But why don't we just
Let's blow through the nitty gritty and then we'll just start talking about this whole thing.
fantastique?
Let's welcome them. Welcome, baddies.
Wow. No, they don't get a welcome. I'm just kidding. Of course they're
That's
welcome.
fucking rude.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome to another episode of ICBTB podcast.
Also known as
It can't be that bad. We have a special guest, Melissa Lopez, like we introduced her earlier. She did a beautiful thing, and she sat through this movie with me and watched it
I
in its
fell
entirety.
asleep. Well,
You did?
I fell asleep and then I woke up and I finished it.
Yes. I
story of
said,
your relationship, huh?
actually,
So we watched a movie called An
Evening with Beverly Luff Linn.
That's
quite a mouthful,
It
dude.
is a mouthful and a half.
that's hard to remember.
It is rated R, or in Finland, I learned it's rated K-12. So that's interesting. Just a little fun fact for you.
That's only kindergartners and kids through the 12th grade can watch this. But once you graduate high school, it's not for you.
It's not for anybody. Released in 2018, but don't be surprised if you've never heard of it because it had a very quiet release. We both looked at the numbers, so I don't need to hide it. It only grossed about $16,000. Not even really close to the $17,000
It's
rank.
super low.
Very low rank. I wonder how they financed this film.
Yeah, how much money did they? Well,
It does. I didn't find the budget for this film, but I think that's probably because major loss, bro.
what's the director's name? Can you look that up real quick? I think his name is Jim Hoskins or something like
That's
that.
correct.
Jim
Hosking.
Hoskin. He
Hosking.
had done a movie prior to this called The Greasy Strangler,
Yes.
in which Aubrey Plaza and Craig Robinson both saw. And that's why they agreed to do this film, because it was such an and The Greasy Strangler is a horror comedy, and apparently it's very unorthodox, just like how this was.
I'm sure it'll come up.
And they were like, "Oh, that was super creative. I want to work with this guy," which is why they took up these roles.
Interesting. They definitely didn't get a paycheck. It has a runtime of an hour and 48 minutes, or 108 minutes, Melissa, and it feels like 3 days. It has a rating of 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb, a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 54% on Metacritic.
Very low numbers.
Would you like to guess the other number?
Oh, the Google users.
Correct.
I'm assuming it's going to be also very low, because I could see why people wouldn't like this movie. Probably like 63%. What do you think?
47.
Wow, you guys. And you,
47?
like-
like,
That's
Very low?
low.
and you guys like this film?
I liked it more
I
than
didn't like
her.
it.
You didn't like it?
79%.
It was weird.
79 is what he got?
Yeah, I think people gave this upvotes because they're like, this is an art film, and I don't want my art friends to realize that I'm an idiot.
It's artsy, dude. It really
artsy.
is artsy.
Here's the synopsis coming at you.
Right at you.
Lulu Danger's unhappy marriage takes a turn for the worst when a mysterious man from her past comes to town to perform.
And that's it.
That's all we got.
It's that short.
Murder, She Wrote.
Crazy. Okay, let's start talking about this movie. So right from okay, did you guys expect it to be like this at all?
I didn't know anything
No.
going into this. Zero.
I never even heard of it, so
Yeah, I brought this to you. I actually watched 30 minutes of the movie, stopped it, and I saved it so that I could watch
You're
it.
like, Melissa has to go through this torture with me.
I didn't think it was torture, but I knew she was gonna laugh at how outrageous.
If you like
this was.
indie cult films, then this movie is full of the hitters. So it's starring Aubrey Plaza and Craig Robinson, but also Jemaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords is in this. Emile Hirsch is in this. Matt Berry, Maria Bamford is in this film, and then a couple other people that you would recognize looking at, but maybe not necessarily know their names.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth watching because everybody is acting.
I think everyone is in on the joke. They understand what the flavor of this unorthodox film is. Like, it was just over the top acting, and this was in the same realm as Tim and Eric.
Yeah, of course. I saw that a couple of times in reviews.
Very much in the same universe as there's another movie I was thinking about, Napoleon Dynamite, but just cranked up a little bit more, right? I could see
Way
Napoleon
more, way
Dynamite's
more,
character in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's interesting because all the characters I feel like are in different films, and then they're all kind of like lumped into this one. Like it seems like because they're all very big characters, so it
Yes.
seems like they're all plucked from different storylines and then put into this one.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I could definitely see a movie about Tyrone, the
Yeah.
fat worker at the coffee shop.
There's a movie about the coffee shop that we don't get to see. There's a movie about the hotel workers that we don't get to see. There's a movie about, you know, every duo and pair and couple that we don't get to see. We just kind of see their moment of interaction.
Yeah, there's definitely something more to Shane Danger, who was the owner of that coffee shop or of that diner.
I have a feeling they cut out a bunch of his scenes.
Yeah, because he seemed like a much more fleshed out character.
It seemed
than
like
what
they
he was
set up
given.
quite a bit, and then we didn't actually get to see where the
I feel
like
like he disappeared in the middle of the film.
Yeah,
he was literally thrown away. His character is thrown away.
Yeah, when Aubrey Plaza goes with Colin to whatever the hotel, he just disappears. I was surprised to see that they were married, first of all, because she just fires him, and then the next scene is them having dinner at a table.
Yeah, I was confused at first.
Do you remember what they were eating at that table too?
A giant meatball.
Yeah,
It was really big.
it was like a meatball with a side of spaghetti.
It's very funny to me that because starting off, I feel like it was building to be a very good movie.
Yes.
You have to excuse me. My nose is itchy.
Why does it always get itchy?
I don't know. It's something. Maybe I drank or smelled or sniffed something weird.
It's possible.
I went on a panty raid last night, so maybe that's what it is.
That's fucked up. And in this day and age, what is this, Animal House, man? You can't just be
I was
raiding
thinking
panties.
it was SpongeBob, bro.
Oh, that's the one.
That's where I learned it.
Highly inappropriate thinking about that episode now.
Oh god, now I'm choking on saliva. Take it away for a second, please.
Yeah. So, how deep into the movie, babe?
Did you knock out?
I know the exact timestamp. That was about like 50 minutes in.
That's when I checked the time to see how much longer we have.
Well, I can tell she's knocked the fuck
I
out.
asked him, I'm like, how much longer is this movie?
Your breathing gets heavy when you fall asleep.
Okay, anyway.
And then I turn around and
I used to date a girl
out.
who would twitch, and that's how I knew she was like asleep. And so like we'd be watching TV, and all of a sudden I'd feel like a twitch, and I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I can change the channel now.
Oh, she wouldn't try to play it off like she didn't fall asleep?
No, that was like
I'm awake.
No,
I
no,
swear.
and the twitch was like the sign of sleeping. Like if she didn't twitch, then she wasn't asleep yet. It was like twitch and then out cold. It was like her body shutting off. It was weird.
That shouldn't
weird.
happen at the beginning of sleep. That shouldn't be a sign of like, oh, she just fell asleep. That happens like in deep slumber.
Like I'm telling you, dude, because as soon as it happened, out.
Damn.
Yeah, you know, I will say some of the jokes and some of the lines in this film are very witty, very quickly delivered, and very you can brush past them. You know, it's that kind of dry wit, that kind of dry humor.
Yeah.
But then there's also these like stories and monologues that they do that are so nonsensical yet so funny. But it's just like
You have an example of like a moment?
when Colin is talking about his grandma, his whole speech about like potty training and the candies that his grandma used to give him. That's like a 3-4 minute scene, and arguably maybe one of the best monologues I've ever seen. I do want to try and figure out how I can make that into like my audition piece because
you would have to be very
specific
particular.
character.
Yes.
Yeah, very specific character. But like the way he tells the story, he puts things in that story like he's reading it as if he'd like practiced it in a speech class. Like when he goes, now I'm getting to the major points of this story. It's almost as if he's reading, like someone wrote this story for him.
Well, this is his like go-to story, obviously, when he's trying to woo a girl. He has 2 stories in this film. The first story that he tells Aubrey Plaza, when they sit at the bar and she's like, hey, Colin, we've been running around so much we haven't had time to catch up. Tell me something. Tell me something
Let me get
about
to know
Colin.
you pretty much, yeah.
And he's like,
Well, I come from a long line of Keiths. My grandfather's name was Keith, and he
kind of a
named his
tradition.
son Keith. But my father, my uncle's name was Colin, and my father liked that name so much that he would introduce himself as Colin sometimes.
and he looked up the name Colin, and it turns out it means
Small dog.
small young dog. So he named me
Colin, because he said I looked like a small young dog.
Because I was born with teeth.
That line, and then also when Matt Berry is trying to get a room in the hotel, and he goes, My grandfather was a German Shepherd.
Yes.
Those are my two favorite lines. My grandfather was a German Shepherd is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, the person at the front of the hotel is like the dog. Yes, like the dog.
Well,
Melissa,
it's a different universe, so you don't know if it's a dog.
It's crazy.
what was your favorite part, Melissa?
I think I like the end when
Not all at once, please. You like the end when it was over?
When the credits hit?
the end. I don't know names, but the poet guy.
Matt Berry, the poet guy?
The poet guy?
The poet guy.
The one who would grunt?
Yeah, him.
The main
Craig
guy.
Robinson.
You mean Beverly Luff Linn?
Oh yeah, him.
2 words, please.
Well, duh.
You mean the title of the movie?
Yes, but I liked when he was finally not grunting and he was actually
my
like
God.
saying stuff.
So I was so over the grunting by like minute 2.
By minute 2?
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it still.
I was like questioning it too. Like, is this all he's gonna do?
But they
the
ended
whole
up
movie?
justifying it. They said he gets so anxious before shows that he could only grunt. And Melissa had a good point when we were watching, because it's a singer thing. When prior to a show, singers will save their voice, but grunting is kind of
The opposite of that.
It's,
Yeah,
you
I was
are
like,
destroying
is
your
he on
throat.
vocal rest?
I almost wish they didn't have him talk then at the end. Then go the full 9 yards and have him grunt out a poem that everyone like is moved to tears from. Like they can all understand it. And then,
That would have been. That's an interesting. You didn't find it satisfying when he finally spoke.
No, because then at the end of the movie, even in the post-credit scene, he's back to grunting.
That's true, and I did understand why he reverted.
And then
back.
the other thing, well, because
He was trying to find himself or something, right?
I don't know, because he does all this talking on stage where he's like, I want to change and I made some mistakes in my life, and then he gets off stage and he's like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck I just said. I just like say shit, and so it's like, oh, so you didn't mean
he like
any
blacks
of that.
out on stage.
Yeah, so you didn't actually mean any of that. So your character actually had no growth.
You know, when
I think. Sorry to cut you off.
That's
I think
okay.
that might be part of the show too.
that he does that every single time.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
No, I don't know.
Because then they get what happens at the end of the film. They get back in the car and go on to the next city, just like it was. They buy a hot dog and a tamale and they go on to the next thing.
And yeah, it didn't really seem like there was much growth.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really.
He doesn't
much of a spoiler.
He
in this
grows a
movie.
lot, and then at the end he's like, "Actually, yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on," and then he's right back to where he was in the beginning. Of the
You know
film.
what I think this movie is? I think it is an exaggeration of different
Napoleon
types of
Dynamite.
people that are flawed in terms of love, right? Like Aubrey Plaza
Okay, keep
is
going.
the type of girl who will forever be hung up on her first love, right? Even though it's years and years later. Colin is the type of person that will do everything for love but has never been loved. Craig Robinson, his I don't know. His I can't put my finger on necessarily. He's the one he probably feels like he doesn't deserve to be loved, even though everyone loves him.
Exactly, and then that leaves Matt Berry for the unrequited love because apparently he's like he's gay for Greg Robinson, which was I thought that was weirdly thrown in because he didn't play it that it wasn't that obvious to me. in the
Yeah, they
beginning.
were.
It just seems like he was abusing him, trying to take his money. Right? I don't know from.
No, I think that he actually did care for him and was very protective of him. It was a very protective kind of love, is what I
There's
thought.
a movie called Love and Mercy. Did you ever see that film?
Nah.
It's about Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, and it takes place in 2 tenses, the present tense and then past when he was a kid. Paul Dano and John Cusack. It's incredible.
My dad was just watching this downstairs not too long ago. He was telling me to watch it.
When Brian Wilson is in his elder years, he goes kind of crazy, cuckoo bananas, and he has a handler who's just like taking advantage of him and stealing all his money, played by Paul Giamatti. And that's the kind of relationship I got from Matt Berry and Craig Robinson. It was like an abusive handler, kind of like Stan Lee at the end of his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I got more from it. It wasn't until later on when he points out the fact that it's an unrequited love. Then I was like, oh, I guess I could see how he's doing all these things because he's trying to
Well,
be
that's
with
what.
him, save him from other people. He doesn't want him to meet with Aubrey Plaza. He doesn't
Yeah.
want him to get to, and like he's drugging him. He's like clearly, like actually, physically abusing him. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh no, he was by no means a good person. Definitely, he was very selfish with Craig Robinson's character, and
You do strange things for love, I guess.
I guess so. I was watching this interview with Aubrey Plaza and Craig Robinson as to why they took on these roles. It was because of the director who directed The Greasy Strangler, and also because it was a love story at its core. I loved this movie in terms of execution, but I thought it lacked in storyline. I do think it was a drug out storyline.
I think it's the opposite. I think the storyline is fairly solid. I think the backbone of this movie and the premise is actually fairly decent, but the execution is where it loses it for me. Yeah, I think the idea of the love triangle or love quadrilateral, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then this idea of like hiding what the show is until the end, until like the last minute when we finally realize it's not like a magic show. Did you think it was gonna be magic? I thought he was gonna be a magician.
I mean, like if you look at the poster, what was happening to his
a magical night?
Yeah.
They were just What did you think? Did you like the story more? Did you like the acting more?
Probably the story more. The acting was just like fucking weird though.
It was because 50-50.
It was like, I don't know, the pauses were too much for me, and the way they were like addressing people like by their names, very
that weren't their
excessively.
names. Yeah,
It was just like too much. So
She was making some crazy observations.
what was weird was when Colin first went to go whack Emile Hirsch.
Yes.
And then Aubrey Plaza just like appears in the bushes too.
She was just smoking in her front yard.
But we saw fucking Flight of the Conchords right there in that spot 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, I don't know. She just popped out of nowhere. I'm not questioning reality in this movie because the universe is also manipulated.
Everything.
Yeah, dude. But why are you not questioning when he came up to like blow out Emile Hirsch's kneecaps? The windows are the curtains are completely open. They're dancing because they just got the money.
Incredible dance moves, by
and
the
the
way.
dancing is so funny.
That I thought was
What was
more
he
gay
doing?
than Matt there. He was like backing up.
Oh no, the other guy, who
The tall
works
dude?
at
Carl?
Yeah.
Carl also works at the coffee shop. He was body popping is what he calls it. And Aubrey Plaza was like, "Carl, are you break dancing?" And he's literally in like a T, or like his body is a T, and he's just pulsating his body.
It's called popping.
It's called body popping.
The whole movie is strange. But also when she comes in, she's like, "This is Colin." I was like, "Is that Colin?" And then when he like just accepted the name as Colin, and then has a whole story behind it, I was like, "I thought they made up that name." Because when they're sitting in the room and he's like, "Wait, you don't know who Colin is?" He's like, "I don't know who Colin is." How the fuck did you know his name was Colin then?
Because he introduced himself. Because when Emile Hirsch opens the door,
He's like,
he says, "Who's this guy?" And he says, "I'm Colin."
Isn't Aubrey Plaza who goes, "It's Colin"?
No, Aubrey Plaza doesn't answer at all.
I missed it then.
Yeah.
No, I thought she did. I thought
Yeah.
she introduced.
And she introduced
No,
you.
I've seen this twice because I watched it once by myself and I watched it with you.
I could've
so I
sworn
saw this
that-
interaction.
Well, 2 against 1, so you're probably wrong.
I could have sworn she was like, "It's Colin," and then she brought him in.
That might
She
have
was
been
like,
later.
"Party guy. Hey, you gonna let party guy in?"
Oh.
And then Emile Hirsch was like, "Who is this guy?" And he was
He's like, Colin. And then she
I'm
says,
Colin.
"It's Colin." I think maybe that makes sense too.
We'll have to rewatch it again.
No, you could not pay me
Dude,
$16,658
this is the type of movie I would
to make
watch.
a rewatch.
I wouldn't watch it in its full entirety again, but I would watch my favorite moments.
I like
over
the
and over again.
dancing at
My
the
favorite.
end.
Yes.
Well, hang
good.
on a second. We'll get to that in just 1 second. My favorite parts in this film don't last long enough for me to want to rewatch this film. The dancing at the end makes no sense at all.
But it was like more normal though.
That was
got-
like a disco night. And then what was with the 2 dudes playing women?
Who?
There was Valerie or whatever in the laundromat, and then she shows up again later at the hotel. Was a guy playing a girl, and then
Oh, you're talking. Yeah. His name
And
is
then
like.
homeboys-
kept coughing.
yeah, and then homeboy's grandma. No, homeboy's grandma. That was his grandma. Has a mustache, just like a straight up dude.
Homeboy's grandma. Who's homeboy?
I don't know.
The friend who works with Emile Hirsch. Remember Emile Hirsch? His grandma has diabetes,
Yeah.
and he has to buy his grandma.
And his grandma is that guy.
His grandma's a guy with a mustache.
What the
The
fuck?
coughing guy
That's right. Oh, inside of the house.
who looks exactly like Valerie, who's like a white guy in the
That's who
laundromat,
that
who's
was?
also a woman.
There was some sort of fixation on coughing in this movie because
Gross, like
and watching this in this COVID climate that's going
So
on
gross.
today, disgusting because no one's covering their mouth. Exactly, and that old dude in the laundromat. There's a scene of him
just coughing for 3 minutes.
about
Yeah,
3
it was,
minutes,
like,
and no one's calling it out. No one says, "Are you okay? Do you need a cough
no,
drop?"
no one acknowledges the weird shit, which was just weird.
Well, like you said, this is their reality.
Like even in the beginning
This
when
is
they were like
normal.
trying to maneuver around each other, they were so close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Excuse me. She was checking you out. I was checking him out.
And then he starts laughing. Yeah, that's right. The dude from HR with like
The
the
cowlick.
terrible hair. He came very close to Aubrey Plaza. Excuse me, I'm trying to order something. I want to talk about the
Yeah.
Tyrone. Tyrone was probably my favorite character in this entire movie. Tyrone is the fat dude that worked at the diner, and there were so many just jokes that he had that were kind of just
when they
that
go
you
to
could just brush off.
when they go to rob Ajay,
Ajay.
when they go to rob Ajay and they're sitting in the car wearing wigs, that's maybe one of my favorite scenes.
Because they
At
look
that point in the movie, I still
exactly
had
the same.
very high hopes for the film. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be really cool. And then, like I said, I would have liked to have seen a movie of those three guys.
I would have watched that.
I would have rather spent an hour and 48 minutes following their story.
At what point during the film did it occur to you, I'm
watching
gonna
nonsense?
like this movie?
When I paused it to see how far it was, and I still had an hour left.
Okay, so you're about 45 minutes in.
Yeah, I think 48 minutes exactly.
At
Where I
what
noticed
point
it.
of the movie was that? They were at the hotel?
They're already in the hotel.
Okay.
Everyone's been introduced except for maybe like the blonde girl.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was at that point I realized, this is going to be a multifaceted, different kind of storyline movie, and we're not going to follow the storyline that I'm interested in, which was the three guys.
No, this was so out of left
I'm
field.
super interested in the coffee shop and how he like has the fake foam cappuccino and then takes a sip and then he's like, "That's a real cappuccino." That's one of my like I said, some very funny moments, but.
Melissa saw that scene and you were like, what is he pumping into that coffee? And
Could be like
soap?
simple syrup. And
But it was like foam.
it was foamy, yeah.
But who's
That's
having
a
a
great-
cappuccino at like 8 at night?
People who own a coffee shop. That's a great. Honestly, if you honestly love like cappuccinos or something like that,
Coffee foam.
that's a great invention. I'm sure that's a
The
thing.
beverages in here looked really delicious. None of them looked
Oh, yeah.
alcoholic.
That chocolate one.
The chocolate one was like a water, like an unblended mudslide,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody makes them. Like Emile Hirsch makes them, and then he gets to the bar and they make them there. And
Emile
then,
Hirsch made a
like a
chocolate
malt
drink.
ball chocolate.
Yeah, he was putting
alcoholic
straight
drink.
up chocolate Whoppers
Whoppers.
on top
4
of that
Whoppers.
drink.
I
And he was
hate
like,
Whoppers.
it's a fan favorite.
That was hella funny because I have like drinks that I've been trying to make and people being like, "Are you sure you want to serve this at the party?" Like everyone loves Negronis, okay? Maybe they don't know, but then once they try them, they like Negronis. It's like, okay, fine, make a picture of Negronis then, Alex.
Did you see what they put in Colin's drink? What type of chocolate treat they put in his drink?
No, what was it? Like
It was
Rolos?
a full-on Tootsie Roll.
Do you know for sure though?
Yeah,
I think that is
I've
the
seen
long
the
Tootsie
drink
Roll.
so many
Yeah,
times.
that is
The
like a
long
long
Tootsie
Tootsie
Rolls.
Roll.
Yes, I'm familiar with those Tootsie Rolls because
We've never seen him eat it though.
No, he
no,
doesn't.
I don't. I think is it there for decor?
Garnish. It's a garnish.
It's garnish.
yeah,
Tootsie Rolls.
every drink needs a garnish. That's like as a bartender, that's like one of the laws is every
That's
drink needs a garnish.
So
Lulu's
silly.
drink looked good though. That
Lulu's
Or
Lulu's
like
drink.
Hurricane, pretty much. I don't even remember what the rum
Yeah, it just looked
rambler.
like some sort of a
Rum and ramble.
like a
some
girl
rum mixed
cocktail.
drink.
The bar, the Captain's Lounge, seemed like a fun bar to work at. Actually,
I
I
would've
would have
been
liked to have been, especially if like my part of my uniform is dressing like a captain,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the other bartender is like first mate. Like I think that would be fun. That would be fun.
That bartender was funny too. When Colin,
Does he have any lines?
He does. Yeah, he says like one thing. Lulu's judging Colin for picking up the public nuts that are on the bar.
That's exactly what a bartender would do.
Yeah, and Lulu's like, "You're gonna eat those? There could be poo on those. Do you want to eat poo nuts?" And Colin's like, "I don't want poo nuts. Excuse me. Can I get some new nuts? There might be poo in here."
No, he goes, "Can I get new nuts?" And he goes, poo. And the bartender just,
Puts it behind his back.
I know. It's just
Here's some new
"Here's
nuts.
some new nuts for you." It's funny that he's fixated on like poo so much.
This movie has
There's a lot of
weird
fart jokes
fixations
too, and weird like fart jokes.
and then sex out of nowhere.
oh yeah.
I did not expect that. When
He
when
was
Graphic.
Colin was sweet though.
Colin was
yeah,
the
didn't-
most normal dude here.
Yeah, Colin deserved more than he got.
When he brought or when he I can't even talk. When he went to get tampons for her.
He went
went
to
to
3
3
different
different stores.
convenience stores. He got up so quick. He had just woken up.
He didn't even
And
put
she
on
was-
his clothes.
She was like, "Colin, I'm on my period. Can you get me the extra large tampons in the green
green.
box?"
Heavy flow.
And he's like, "I'm on it." He just dips out.
They only had one box, but he said, it only lasts for a couple of days, so maybe this will work for you.
So sweet. And Colin was a virgin. Poor guy.
I know.
No longer though.
Who do you think is a funnier virgin, Colin or Steve Carell from 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Probably Steve Carell. Yeah, because first, objectively speaking, that's a better movie,
Oh, of course.
and it's a more realistic movie
Yeah.
compared to this.
No.
If this is what you perceive as realism,
I think my life is the hotel clerk.
oh, the fat dude with the long hair. That guy, the one who was like introducing everyone to about the event with Beverly Luff Linn. Two words. Luff Linn.
Yeah, that's what I said. Mr.
What?
Beverly.
Can we talk about Craig Robinson and how he swims real quick? Right quick. Because Lulu and Colin are both in the pool.
I was just about to bring that up, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw that. Craig Robinson comes out of nowhere, jumps in the pool while they're in the jacuzzi. And he does one lap. And during that lap...
Was he doing butterfly, though? I think so.
He's doing like an underwater mermaid kick. I'm not sure what he was doing.
One of these.
Aubrey like comes.
She's orgasming in the jacuzzi.
Is she having an orgasm?
Yeah. She was sinking lower and lower into the jacuzzi as he was swimming more and more.
Hey.
Yeah. And
you got it like Craig.
When Craig pops out of the water when he's done with that lap and just grunts so loud and so long and then leaves. And that's it. So it's moments like that, and I can see in your face that you did not like executions like that.
No.
But I love that type of acting. It's so awkward. I'm not a fan of like Tim and Eric or Eric Andre.
I'd rather Tim and Eric Andre where it's like, joke, this is all a joke. Know that this is all a joke. Some of this seemed weirdly like they were trying to take it. And some of it was like, it was just weird. Like I said, the storyline was good. The execution was not.
Interesting. So we're on different ends. We're once again opposite. Do you have a favorite actor?
Do you have a best person on set award is what we like to call him.
I like Colin.
And why is that?
He's sweet, and I just felt like he was more normal than all the other people.
Even though he was still weird?
But it fit him. I don't know.
Did you like how? Do you think he was a handsome guy? Answer carefully.
No.
I'm fucking kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
Weird character to be jealous
hair.
of. Weird.
Insecure.
So many times he's looking in the mirror at his hairy body. So many times in this movie he thinks he's gonna get laid.
And readjusting his whole like package.
Yeah.
Because he's a virgin, bro. He doesn't know what to do.
No.
Makes sense.
Poor
They cuddled,
dude.
though. She went into bed with him.
How? I will say, that's fucked up what she was doing. She was so messed up in the brain that she was messing with this guy's emotion.
That's what women do.
Immediately when they get to the hotel, she takes off her sweater and says, Colin, can you massage me?
It's like, that's enough.
That was a funny exchange that they had too. But she was really fucking with his emotions. And you look upset.
It's just an interesting film, bro. And,
I recommended this to you. I'm sorry.
And it's fine, but you don't get to recommend it anymore ever again.
Ever
No,
again?
I'm just kidding. But this was a rough watch. And it's not like I haven't made you watch rough watches, but yikes.
Yeah, this was... No, I'm going to say I enjoyed
almost got
this
you
still.
to agree with me. I enjoyed parts of it. And I'm not trying to say don't ever watch this film, but
I
you'll
think it's worth
probably
a watch.
only watch it once.
For the baddies out there, if you want to watch something artistic...
If you love indie films, if you like dry Sahara desert in the middle of August at the highest heat, no humidity, zero water in the middle of Death Valley.
Right on the equator.
Dry. Did I say dry?
Yeah.
Comedy. That's what this film is.
It's really deadpan, and it's really in your face. Watch clips. I'm sure there are clips all over YouTube of just specific scenes, and you'll get the flavor of it.
I don't know if enough people have seen this film. I would bet less than 20,000 people have seen this film.
Dude, the way they robbed that Ajay's convenience store is the way
Why
I
didn't
would
we follow
rob.
that more?
What? That was funny.
I liked how he kept coming back every day. He was like, I
want
want
my
my
fucking money."
How is Ajay Aubrey Plaza's brother?
Hey, don't.
I know. Don't question it.
I was cracking up when as soon as they were like, you know who brought this poster? It's a guy who looked like Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers. And I'm like, who the fuck?
Who's the Doobie Brothers?
And he does look like Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers, bro. Ooh, Yamobi.
How come Ajay had orange hair? At one point, he had a full-on sweater.
Naked in the laundromat.
He was washing his clothes that he was wearing that day.
Do you have a best person on that award?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead.
Good.
No, he had a sweater, some shorts, and some Timbs.
Some Timberland.
He was wearing Tim's.
What a weird... And he had this random dude that he brought to Emile Hirsch's
To
shop.
rough him up.
Yeah. And
He
Emile
punched
Hirsch...
me in the face. What do
Yeah.
you think happened?
Why did he agreeably go into the back with him to get punched in the face?
Maybe he didn't know.
Emile Hirsch was funny too, saying that I gotta go take a shit. Can you man this shop for 25 minutes?
Who shits for 25 minutes?
See, there are moments in this movie that are likable.
Yeah,
I
totally.
can see how the overall product
But
could scare a person away.
All of those parts are in the first 48 minutes.
No, there was funny parts at the end too. Weirdly enough, at the very end of this movie was when it got the most real. When the acting became the most real. Like the very last scene, that was a good way to end the movie.
I think the movie could have ended at 48 minutes.
Really? Holy crap.
This could have been like a weird Comedy Central special.
You know, after I'd watched this, I was thinking Alex is either going to really hate this film or really love it.
You're wrong on both accounts because I'm kind of like
In the middle?
with one right foot in the dislike category. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can be swayed. You're right. I do enjoy parts of this film. I see it for what it is. But like I said, storyline over execution.
Do you like Aubrey Plaza?
Yeah, I mean, I liked her in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
That's the only movie. That's funny that's the movie that you think of.
Well, that's the one that she did. That's my favorite.
No, that makes sense. But that was just like a lesser known movie.
I
Really?
liked her hair
I thought
in
that was
this
very
film.
popular.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was a cutie. patootie
Everybody
here.
looked very interesting. The costume designer did an incredible job. And
Probably
the
yeah,
did the
her outfits
costume
were cute.
designing for
the set designer,
Dr. Seuss.
there was just a lot of. I will say this about this film.
What?
I don't have a best person on set award because I think it goes to the production staff as a whole because a lot of work went into making this world realistic. The diner, the hotel, the cars, like everything is built and designed to really give you so much information without it being overpowering because these characters are so big. You know, it's very interesting that I think the car that Matt Berry and Craig Robinson are in is like stuffed full of shit all the time because like they're traveling artists and you know what I mean. And I think the tension between Colin and Aubrey Plaza the whole time is like very telling of there's a lot of good stuff going on, you know, and every license plate was very interesting. Everyone's license plate meant something I think to their character.
Yeah.
And so a lot of work went into this film, but it just missed something for me.
Okay. Wow, I got it out of you. You defended this film. You actually defended it.
You did it.
Yeah, I knew I could sway you somewhat. I mean, that's a real opinion of yours. What do you think,
Your turn, Melissa.
having to defend this film, because that's what this type of podcast is, what can you say good about this film?
Do I have to defend this?
You have to do it.
So much
You have to do it. You're in the chair. You're in the studio.
You're in
This is
the
our-
defend chair.
Yes,
Come on, if Johnny Cochran can defend OJ, you can defend this film.
it's
I
possible.
don't know.
Not one good thing.
What was your favorite joke? None. What was your favorite?
I
You
can't
just
think.
shook
He
your head.
Sorry, he knows this about me. Like when he
you're
asks
on
me
the
something
spot.
on the spot, I can't remember
go
anything.
blank.
And that happens with like his improv shows and blah blah.
It's so funny.
Should we try like asking you a different question? And
then she'll
you'll-
answer it this way?
Like, what's your favorite sushi roll?
Oh, my favorite part of the movie is
Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd would
It's
have killed
hard
this
because
film.
I didn't like the movie as a whole.
Yeah, 10 cents on the dollar.
What does that mean?
is what he said earlier.
But I don't know. You have to get back to me.
Okay, we'll send you a postcard.
Sorry.
Christian?
My best person on set award is
Wait, was that the question?
We kind of have. We'll ask you that too. But
Oh.
think about that.
Yeah.
Well, he answers his.
let's see. My best person on set award. I think I'm gonna give it to Colin.
Jemaine Clement.
Jemaine Clement from
Flight of the Conchords.
I think he did a great job being the contrasting character, the perspective of the audience in such an outrageous film. Like this movie was just so abstract, and for him to be the straight man in it.
Very interesting. You say that quite a bit. They play the audience in the film, and I hear that quite a bit in movies and when people are talking about films. But I never actually see characters as an audience member. I always think that's such a weird connection to make with a character because it's like, no, they're not audience members. They're just as crazy as everyone else is, and they're not questioning. And not to like completely shit on what you just said, because I do agree with your points. But that phrase I think is questionable to me because I don't really get it. I think. I think if there was an audience member, it's us. They can't have us. They can't have one of us in the film. That defeats the whole point of having an audience member. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's not. What I'm trying to say is that he's asking the questions that we would ask if we were in the film.
So he made like the film more relatable.
Yeah,
because-
like
But he's not though.
What do you
Because
mean?
like there's so many like the whole film he would just be like, wait, what the fuck? No, what? Like all the questions that we had, he did not ask.
No, he's just like him. Of course, if we were in his shoes, he would ask, "Who is this Craig Robinson guy to you?" And of course, the way he asks it is outrageous. He just yells in the bed. He says like, "I fell in the pond," and like, "Who is this Beverly Luff Linn guy?"
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I felt like he had the most common sense.
Yes, he was the most grounded character.
Yeah.
I guess, and I guess that's where that phrase comes from, having the most grounded character. But I hear it not just in this film, but you've said it in the past. Other people have said it. That's the character who's the audience member. But like, I never understand that.
It's just
that phrase
without
to me.
a character like that, without a grounded character, then it's just too much through the roofs. Then that's comedy.
But to me, he's not grounded though.
Yeah, but in
He's
comparison,
just as eccentric. He's just as eccentric in a different way, though. Like they're just eccentric. They're all just eccentric in different ways to me, and all characters are just. But
but like in comparison to Craig Robinson's character, who grunts the entire time, in comparison to Emile Hirsch, who is this aggressive.
you see what I'm saying though, like because Colin is doing weird things, right?
Yeah, of course.
Colin is also like there's questions that we ask about Colin that nobody asks. So then you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
why does he eat the cheesy onion rings the way he does? Of course.
That was pretty funny.
There's like weird shit about him too. But I like the way that he played the character, and I think I just feel a little bit I find him relatable because he was so sweet. You were rooting for him as opposed to
No, I was
who
rooting
the
for
fuck
Emile
is this
Hirsch.
grunting? Who?
I was rooting for Emile Hirsch.
Dude, oh, really?
Yeah, bro. He's the only one with cojones in the film, bro.
He's the only one with a nasty ass pube stash.
I fucking how much money do you think he's got in that cash box? I don't have a fucking cash box. Melissa, do you have a best person outside award?
I think I already said.
Oh,
It was Colin as
Oh,
well.
it was
that's
Colin
right,
as
well.
That's right.
That's right.
How do you guys rate this film?
1. It can be that bad.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
4 out of 5 for me. Bonkers, good way.
Are we rating by 5?
Yeah, out of
1
5.
out of 5.
That's the official ICBTB spectrum.
Maybe 2.
2 out of 5?
Yeah.
Bonkers in a good way.
Bonkers in a bad way.
In a bad
That's
way,
what
excuse
2
me,
out of
excuse
5 is. Wow, I'm really the only one in this room that really liked it. A 1 out of 5, dude.
I liked
I thought you were
parts
more in the
of it.
middle than that. I thought you were going to give this a 3 out of 5.
No, because it is bad. But you know, it's an interesting watch. But it is bad.
We've watched worse films. I think that we've seen worse films. There was some effort put into here, some creative effort. And the way it ended, too. I think it was the best way to end, finally. And it was satisfying. They were both laying in bed, not with each other. They had kissed on the dance floor, went back to the hotel room, and we were anticipating for them to have sex. He goes into the bathroom to take off his clothes, comes out, she's knocked out, he lays down. She says, "Hey, Colin." He's like, "What?" She says, "I love you." He says, "I love you too." Because, like I said in the beginning of this episode, he is a flawed character in the sense that he is someone that loves so much but has never been loved, and now he's finally loved after putting his foot down. I
Well
find that
done.
He
relatable.
was respectful.
Well done.
Respectful, like gentlemen.
Like you, Christian. And I want to take a second here for you because I know you don't know this is happening, and neither does Melissa, but this episode's going to come out on your birthday.
It is.
And so I wanted to tell you a couple. I'm going to pull it on Rickles. You know, I do make fun of you quite a bit. I say some quite mean things to you.
Yes.
But you take it like a champ now.
Yes.
You're a good guy. You're a smart guy. You're a pretty guy.
Thank you.
I owe a lot of this podcast to you. I owe a lot of things that I have in my
dude.
life. I owe to you, my friend. And so I do appreciate you for that. And I did get you a little something.
You did?
Yeah. So
You're going to give it to me right now?
I'm gonna give it to you right now because I want you to open it so that we can show the baddies and all this stuff.
Holy shit.
And also, just so you know, this isn't something that I got like on the way in. It's not something that I could have.
Wow, there looks like there's a lot
so
of effort put into here.
You know, I
Show
do
the
joke that I
camera.
don't know, your birthday. But I would like you to take a look at this and
thanks,
enjoy.
dude.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy.
What the fuck? I didn't expect this right now. I thought probably like on Wednesday or my birthday.
Yeah. You're not getting anything on the actual day now because I'm
That's
giving.
okay.
But
I'm fine with that.
It's all for the baddies. That's we give it all to them.
Really an act for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, truly. It's actually an empty box, and we're just gonna edit in a gift or something. I don't really know how we're gonna do it.
I'll just a floating image. Of...
Just like black it out. Cut here, guys.
Wow.
Take your time.
I don't know. I said wow. I didn't even open it.
Yeah, it's not wrapped at all either, guys. It is just a box.
Toilet paper. Wow.
There you go, pal. I know you're hurting.
I feel like
for it.
guys are so careful with opening presents.
Yeah, I
Really?
don't know. I'm not. Yeah, but some guys are.
I think I just am. Why? Are you aggressive when you open presents?
Just want to get in there.
Yeah, you're just gonna open it.
Let me
You're just
see.
gonna throw away the
The
stuff.
box is boo-boo. I did put a lot of paper in there, and I'm
That's
sorry.
a lot of paper.
There you go. It's right there, pal.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh shit, dude! What?
Ooh.
It's a baseball jersey that says it can't be that bad. It has the number 1 on there,
And I got one.
and it says Baltazar.
I got one for me too, pal. So we can be matching.
Dude,
we can be on the
this
same
is
baseball
dope.
team.
I'm gonna
Mine's
wear
also-
this, man.
I hope it fits. I got an extra large. Mine came in a little bit smaller. Mine's just a large. So hopefully it fits you. If not, we'll frame them and we'll turn it into
No,
that
this
kind
is
of
gonna
piece.
fit, dude. This is gonna
But
fit.
obviously this is custom made, so I could not have gotten this in the last couple of weeks.
No,
so
that's impossible.
I had to think about it and plan. So you know
You
what?
did say the box when I on the last episode. I said you probably haven't even got me a present. You said, "Well, you'll be surprised when
Yes,
I
you
tell
will
you
be. Yes.
what came in the mail."
Yes, you will
Dude,
be.
this
friend.
is fucking awesome.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, dude. I love you, man.
Happy birthday.
That's right.
Thank you. Baddies.
This wasn't planned at all. He doesn't even know. Look at
Wow.
him. Look at his face, guys.
I'm
Look
in
at that
awe.
dumb face.
I'm in awe. I know this is a different
Shooketh.
type of episode. We've first time we've had a guest in a very long time.
Yep.
Talked about a movie where one of us actually gave it a 1 out of 5,
But still defended.
but still defended it. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a very funny movie, but Jesus Christ. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you to everyone
45.
out there that has supported this
67.
podcast. We'll see you if this comes out on Tuesday on my birthday.
Yeah,
we'll
next
see you
time
tomorrow.
We'll see you guys at our live show, July 1st, for our 1 year
Yes.
anniversary.
Yeah, please join us. Melissa will be there. She'll be reading the questions out loud and tracking the questions down on IG Live.
And we
Ask
also,
some juicy questions.
we're going to ask juicy questions. I also have another guest coming in. I'm going to bring in a ghost. So we're actually going to have a real live ghost on the live stream. So,
That's crazy.
all right, guys, tune in.
Bring your holy water. Melissa, thank you for joining us here today. I love you. I'll give you a present if you know what
never
I
say
mean.
that to me, bro. You know,
What? I just said I love you.
you don't give me
Christian
presents
loves
like
you
that
so
anymore.
much.
What? What
Like, he
kind
talks
of?
about you all day, every day.
Oh, that's a lie. That actually can't be true because he has like 30 things going on in his life. The podcast is just like one facet of the 30 things that he does.
It's a huge
There's
facet
no
of
way-
the 30
but it's-
things that
but
I
it's
do.
one of the. But you have so many other things in your brain, on your mind. There's no way that he's talking about me all day long.
Well, every time he's like on his phone, I'm just like, oh, what you doing? He's like texting Alejandro.
Yeah,
Those are dick
recommended
pics.
this
Yeah,
movie.
that's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
You're probably the person that I text the most and most consistently.
Good thing we have iPhones.
Yeah.
We'll cut this part. This is
Okay.
All
All right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.